Aloha again. This is another episode, and I'm so grateful for this brother coming on because I just asked him today. Actually, I asked him, I think a few weeks back, but then we was trying to figure out timing, and then I was like, hey, you know what? I don't know why. This morning, I just like, I think I'm going to ask Craig to come on. And yeah, he was game. And right now it's kind of later in the evening, so I'll like make sure he get time for sleep and everything too. But just want to present to all of you a friend of mine I've known for a while. While I was living in Utah on the mainland, he was part of that crew that we all used to hang out. All the local brothers used to hang out and fellowship and talk story and have a good time especially when we got homesick. But just want to introduce you to my friend, brother Craig Lindsey. Brother, if you could please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Mahalo, Gavon. Well, first of all, I just want to tell you that this podcast that you have going on, I've been following almost every one of them and listening to each one of the brothers you got on here. So props to you. I know a lot of them. And we all come from the same thread. Yeah, we got so lucky that all of our paths crossed at one time or another, and then continue to cross paths. And so by you doing this, it's an amazing thing you're doing. And so I'm happy to be here tonight. It's a little after 9 p.m. here in Utah. I'm still in my office, but I've been here since 7 this morning. But yep, my name's Craig Lindsey, from the island of Oahu. I grew up on the west side of Oahu in Waianae. Not just down the road from Bradda Iokea. What is his first name? The albino one. Shucks.
Andrew.
Yeah. Bradda Andrew. Yeah, he and I grew up together down on the west side. So I know him. I know his story, and I know his family really good. So yeah, I grew up on the west side, doing the thing, kind of part-time school, full-time surf and sports. And I loved it. I loved my time growing up because, on the west side, it's super slow. Everybody is, at their own pace. Not a lot of hustle that goes on down on the west side, but everybody take good care of each other and, trying to avoid the rotten stuff that is prevalent in that area. But I was able to graduate from Waianae High School, with a C average. I think Michael Palmer was the same way. Brought in high school, just barely graduated with a C average score. But I tell you where my journey started. In my senior year in high school, I was awarded a seminary scholarship, and that was a seminary scholarship. I think some of us know what those are. Given to the first semester, local kids to BYU Hawaii, and I don't know if it was biased because my dad was the bishop. I was a bishop's boy, man. I was a bishop's kid, so. That's another story. I had to see my dad as the bishop many times, my brother. But those were some awesome growing times. But so I got the scholarship to BYU Hawaii, and was able to go the first semester. And there I met a lot of friends that was, graduate Kamehameha or went to other schools where, education was kind of on the top of their priority, which was just the opposite for me. And was able to hang around with that and see, what their study habits were and structure in life. West Side structure is like, you kind of do whatever you like and, live day to day kind of thing. What they call it, YOLO now. You only live once. But anyway, BYU Hawaii was where I grew the most because some of my friends, in fact, most of them that I hung around with, Clark Tuitele, Austin Draper, all those boys, they all was planning on missions, and I never thought I would go on one. And so, they started prepping for missions, and so I guess I said I better go too. So I ended up going on a mission, served my 2-year mission in the Philippines where I learned Tagalog. and learn how to speak English at the same time. And what a great experience it was for me at BYU Hawaii, because that's where the Craig Lindsey that I am today uh, kind of started from. And I look back, Gabon, I look back on that pivotal time that I got that scholarship, because if it didn't come, I don't know what I would be doing. Maybe I would have went straight to work and didn't go to school. I don't know if I would have gone on a mission, but all of that helped me mature my spirituality, my inner strength, and my just my trust in Heavenly Father and my trust in other people, that I was able to network. A lot of the people that I still know and work with or tap into are those people that I met at BYU Hawaii, and we all continue to stay close and encourage each other, and we always chime in. So yeah, that was my upbringing, and where where it brought me to this point today.
That's cool, brother. Thanks for sharing that, man. It was when you were talking about living down Waianae side, I was thinking about all the guys that I knew that grew up over there. And when you mentioned about being a C student, I crack up because there's been so many times when I have friends who said they were C students, and they always end up being the guys who are like the VPs, the executives. There was this, I think I mentioned this in another episode too. There was this gentleman in a TED talk that said the A students work for the B students, the C students run the companies and organizations, and the D students dedicate the buildings. They're like the priests, and the pastors and stuff. And it was funny when he said that, because when I kind of look on it, I'm like, yeah, bro, that's kind of true. Like a lot of the C students, and part of it is too, when I've interviewed some of the guys that are on the channel, they said a lot of it is because they spent not so much time in the academic area, but a lot of time just getting to know people. And they tend to be more eclectic. It's not just about books. They do sports, they do leadership, they do all these other things, and so they can relate to a lot more people, right? Usually.
And,
Yeah.
mean, good thing that everybody wasn't A students. We wouldn't have buildings. Like who would build our buildings or make the prints or construct all the buildings that we work in? But
no, that's true, bro. What if you don't mind, what is your career now? What did you do for work now?
So I work for Marriott. Been working for Marriott for close to almost 20 years now, and I've kind of dabbled my way through different companies. So I work for a lot of franchise companies that manage Marriott Hotels. So I went mostly in sales and marketing, and I went and helped open new hotels on the sales and marketing side. And then I always knew I wanted to get into hospitality. Grow up in Hawaii, we are by nature, we're hospitable, right? That aloha spirit. And I knew, and I don't know if it's a gift or just a blessing that I have. I connect with people real easy. I'm able to really feel what they feel and connect. And that's one thing that I wanted to share on this podcast is anytime you run into someone that you don't know or meet for the first time, what us local guys do, we always find a connection, right? We always find, well, where you from, or what school you went. And that's hospitality. That's the same thing, is you're finding, and maybe you're not from the same spot, but you look at the person's attire, what they're wearing, a hat that with the Dallas Cowboys logo. Are you from Dallas? We love to ask questions because we want to get to know them. And that's such a beautiful trait for people from the islands, especially for Hawaiians. And that sets us aside, sets us apart, especially here in the mainland. And when you're able to connect with someone that way, it builds trust. They remember you more often. I drop the Hawaii card all the time. Where are you from? I'm from Hawaii. It works, right? It always works. People will gravitate towards people from Hawaii because either they've been there, they've vacationed there, they know, the local moco or moberas up here or something local. We can always connect. And that's the passion that I have behind getting into hospitality. So currently, I'm the general manager of the Residence Inn Marriott in Provo, South Provo. So I have a team of about 35 employees, and I run the entire operations for the specific Marriott. But I traveled quite a bit on the corporate side, and worked in different fields. I was in the leisure market down in southern Utah and Moab for a little while. And I just love the hospitality industry. People, people for the most part travel, and they're pretty happy when they travel. So when they come into your hotel, they're really ready to enjoy an experience. And their experience here at my hotel doesn't start or their experience when they come to Utah for whatever they're coming for. Same thing with Hawaii. When tourists go to Hawaii, their experience doesn't start once they go to PCC or their different activities. It's when they check into a hotel and what kind of reception you get, how your hotel looks. Is everything working? Is it clean? Is your front desk associates open and inviting? I got to tell you, my assistant general manager, she's Samoan. She's from Long Beach. Super nice girl. I hired her. She's been here for about 5 months now. And then my front office manager is Hawaiian Samoan. She's from Laie. And then my head houseman is Samoan. And so I've learned to tap into that special spirit, and we have such a good time working and enjoying the hotel and being around people. And I guess that's another thing that I want to share is when we choose to be around the right people, that we're on the right path. Your vibe attracts your tribe, right? It's something that you gravitate to yourself, those people that you like to be around. So, hiring the right people always works too. So yeah, that's what I do. I'm actually in the hotel right now. So I love it.
So that line you just said, your vibe attracts your tribe. That's gonna start trending a few times because I notice when guys watch the episodes on the show, every once in a while somebody will say a line or a phrase that catches, and then it'll be like, "Oh, I like that." This one guaranteed gonna catch. I'm gonna use them. Your vibe attracts you because it's so true, right? If you kind of look at the people around you, and if you notice that it's maybe not a favorable environment or situation, the people you're attracting them. Maybe you got to rethink how you acting yourself.
Yep, exactly. You evaluate yourself. Like, what kind of energy do you have, and are you attracting that same type of energy? I love it.
That's a good point, bro. Oh, okay, I'm gonna use that. No worry, I give you credit though. Make sure you get the credit.
She go.
If you were to talk about triumphs and challenges you've had in your life, anything that you're willing to share, what would you say is like one or maybe even several of your biggest triumphs, and then go into like challenges that you overcame, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, for sure. I guess the triumph came from the trial. My wife and I, Melissa, when we first got together, she wasn't a member of the church, and so when we got together because she got pregnant, we weren't married yet. I had to take her to my parents and say, "Hey, mom and dad, this is Melissa, and by the way, she's pregnant." Introducing and telling them about what's going on at the same time. And so, my mom said, "It's okay. Are you guys getting married?" I said, I guess so. I don't really know her. I was, but she's carrying my baby, so sure. So we got married in March 7th of 1998. No, sorry, January 3rd, 1998. And at the time, we found out that Melissa was pregnant with triplets, and it was triplet girls. And on March 7th of that same year, so pretty much two months after we were married, Melissa's one of the babies' umbilical cord, or the umbilical cord, yeah, was wrapped around one of the girls, and so it caused her to go into early labor, and we rushed her to Kapi'olani Hospital, and throughout the day they were all born, and but we lost them, all three of them. We named them Kylie, Kayla, and Kiana. They're buried in Kaneohe, Babyland. And through that experience was rough, because I wasn't very active in the church, and Melissa wasn't a member of the church. But I'll tell you that there was a moment during the delivery that got real dicey, and I remember the doctor telling me that there could be a possibility through this process that I could either lose Melissa, lose the babies, or lose them all. To make things easier, they said they would abort the babies to save 100%, save Melissa. And I remember my dad had pulled me aside because I had to make a decision. And he said, son, I think you should go forward with the births of the babies. And at that moment, I trusted him, and I felt like that was the right decision. And so they were all born, all premature, and one lasted for 15 minutes, the other about 6 hours. And the last one, Kylie, we were hoping to keep her, but she passed away after about 12 hours. We got to name them all. And Melissa, being who she was, didn't have a lot of answers to why things like this happen. And of course, it was hard on the both of us. That whole day, Kevon, that whole day was so tough, spiritually, emotionally, physically. And of course, we were very, very sad and distraught. And later that night, and I share this with you and your viewers because I know most of them are friends of ours, or understand, kind of this thing. Everybody went home that night, and it was just me, Melissa, and the three babies who had already passed in a little basket, and we were laying there. And Melissa goes, "What is love at home? What is love at home?" And I said, "Oh, that's a primary song we sing in our church. Love at home. There's beauty all around when there's love at home." And she said, I can hear girl, like kids or babies singing that song, Love at Home. And we just both cried, and I had to, being a returned missionary, I had to recognize the spirit, and told her that, that's just that tender mercy that we needed at that time. And we were able to get some relief and confirmation that this was just a step in our growth. And so, long story short, Melissa took the discussions from the missionaries and was baptized. And of course, the missionaries asked her, "So who's going to baptize you?" And she said, "Oh, my husband." I said, "Oh, I better go see the bishop then. I better go clear up my sins." No, but I really wanted to baptize her. And if you look at it, Gavon, their mission, Kylie, Kayla, and Kiana's mission was short. It was to help convert their mama, have her baptized, and to bring their dad back on the straight and narrow. And a year later, July 24th, Pioneer Day, 1999, we were all sealed together in the Hawaii Temple. And now that when we're having difficult times, some trials, maybe on Mother's Day, Love at Home will come on. And that was just a reminder that they're there. They're there waiting. It's our job. It's our responsibility. It's our kuleana to make sure that we do what we need to get back. I mean, that was tough, but the triumph comes from understanding the process, whatever it be, if it was the Lord's plan, the plan that, we are set forth for our own paths in our career, our life with our children, our family, friends. The triumph comes from seeing all of those come together and understanding why things happen. That's always tough, to try and understand why certain obstacles and hardships come into our lives. And then it'll either break you or make you stronger. And for us, it brought us together. And as happy as we were on the day we said I do in the chapel in Waianae to right now, our family is still complete. And I was just home last weekend to visit a good friend of mine who was going through his last days battling with cancer, and I was able to see him. But I went to go visit the girls, put flowers, and we celebrate their birthdays every March 7th, balloons, cake, the whole deal. We sing happy birthday. I remember the first time we brought all of the children, all the kids to Hawaii and took our first family photo at their gravesite and got to teach each of the children about their titas and where they are and who they are. And they talk about them often. We talk about them often, just as I am right now, because it is a part of our family's history and is a part of who we are. And yeah, it was such a special moment. Thank you for letting me share that.
Ah,
Onions.
onions, man. Seriously, bro. I get bad allergies right now. No, thanks for sharing that, bro. I didn't know that. I knew a little bit of that. I think when we all hung out together, you might have, I think, talked about that a little bit, but I didn't want to ask you because I just felt like, man, that might have been like a sensitive thing. So I appreciate you saying that now because, bro, talk about like hitting people to the heart. Because I mean, to be honest, I kind of have my own traumatic experiences with dealing with family death myself, yeah, and so I can imagine what you had gone through, bro. And just seeing where you guys are at now, awesome, amazing. Like just seeing the positive, maintaining that positive mindset, and seeing the blessings that came out of it, that's awesome, bro. And I guarantee you, people are gonna watch this and they're gonna get something out of it. Because I know, even outside of our circle of friends, and even within our circle of friends, I know there's others that have lost children at birth too. I know for sure. And so they're gonna watch this and be like, grateful to you, bro, for being vulnerable.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. I guess I would like to ask you too, if you were to give advice to struggling people out there, especially Polynesian men that are going through rough times, mental issues or whatever, What is it you want to tell them to overcome those stresses in life? What you want to tell them?
Wow. Yeah. There's a theme for those that watch. What is this, number 27 for you?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
There's a theme that goes through every one of your guests on your podcast. Is there's bumps in the road, and there's times of hardship, and then there's times of triumph. And what I would like to share is that time is always on your side. Whenever you may think that the end is, there's no more that you can do to recover with whatever situation you're dealing with, the hardships that you are, or decisions that you need to make. Is never a better time than to start now, because there's still time. There's still time in your life to change a career, to change a relationship, to move on, to move back, to move to the side. And that is because the time that we get here on earth is given to us to improve ourselves and others. And there's never a better time than now. And so for those that are struggling or come to your podcast to get inspiration, this is what it is to listen to the advice from others. I listen to my wife's advice all the time. My wife she's in the similar industry. She's a nursing unit director for the state hospital. So basically she's the GM of the hospital, and her and I go back and forth with different operational views, and we try to GM the other person or set the other person in the right direction. And so there's always that person that you can lean on to take advice from. You mentioned also on your first podcast on why you started Ho'ui Kaika, and it's, Hawaiians, Polynesians, we always feel like we get them. We know that we have it in control, even though sometimes we don't. But we like flex and show arms and make like everything's fine and dandy, but deep inside it's not. And then we blow up, and then we get to that point where we break. And when we break, the Waianae side comes out, or the Papakolea side comes out. And we don't want that. We don't want that at all. And that's when it gets rough, and that's where it can go downhill. We take our time, take our steps to recovery. We lean on each other, and there's always time to recover. Never think there's that we can't do it. I guess that's just my advice and my little bit of, oh shucks, what's the Hawaiian word for wisdom? That's my, come here, Mel. Mana'o. That's my mana'o.
Why not, bro? That's they know too.
Omaka Ikai 84.
Oh nah.
I old, bro.
Oh snap! No, you're not that old, man. Shoot. Yeah, that's so true, brother. Like, so many of my other friends, we've talked about how Polynesians are really passionate, and a lot of times tend to get too involved in the emotional side of things. Yeah. It's good for some things, but man, like you said, sometimes you just gotta have moments where you can release, like even just having this crying moment too, that even those moments too can help release some of that traumatic experiences that you had,
I
And
love to
yeah,
cry. I love crying.
yeah,
It just releases. I've had a lot of those good cries, you know.
yeah, yeah. I used to try to hide them quite often too, and then my wife be like, "Oh, what's the matter with you?" It's like, I don't like to show that side, but then sometimes you just can't help it; just comes out, you know. Yeah, I learned to kind of let that go, especially after you get married and have kids. You know, you just gotta let a lot of things go.
That's right. That's right.
Oh man, but no, seriously, brother, I appreciate you so much for doing this, man. Because yeah, and the funny thing is, I get a lot out of these conversations that I have with friends like you. It's therapeutic for me because I mean, for one thing, I get to know you guys even more. Even though we've known each other for how many years, some of the stuff that I hear from you, even Martin, like Martin, I've known for like 20 plus years. Some of the stuff he said on the episode, I was like, "Wait, what? You did what?"
Hey. So I was with Uncle Earl just today. He came into my office because he's
Yeah,
having his birthday celebration. So I got some hotel rooms for his family coming in.
yeah.
So I told him I'm gonna be on your podcast tonight. And he goes, and I go, did you listen to Martin and Michael's? He goes, yeah, bro. I listened to Martin's. I'm like, oh, I learned a lot. And I was like, Uncle, me too. He's like, I knew Martin, but I didn't know Martin. I was like, this is coming from Daddy. Oh, so I
Right?
crack up, man.
I know, brother. I know. Oh, so the fact that Uncle Earl never know. Okay, I guess we're all in the same boat then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy, bro. But yeah, folks, as you can see, like a lot of us guys that are on the episode, not all of them, but there's a good group of us that have known each other for a while. And so we end up talking a story about some of the guys you see in previous episodes. Yeah. And so Craig just happens to be in that group too. Yeah, it'll be good one of these days. We'll all get back together again.
For sure.
But shoot, man, I wish we had more time, but I'm gonna have to close them out, brother. And I know you gotta head on home, man, with your family. No, but seriously, man, love you, brother. Much mahalo for doing this, man. Big time.
I love you too, Gavon. Thanks
Yeah,
for letting
bro.
me be on and sharing some mana'o with our people, and keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a good work, good service for everybody. So aloha to you and all your viewers.
It's all you, man. You did the service. I just asked the questions. You don't want giving the advice.
All right, my brother.
Okay, my brother. You take care.
Thanks.
Mahalo, everybody, for watching. Aloha.
Hello, everybody.